And good evening, everyone. How are you doing? You all okay? I need to get EA up and running. Well, Sims 4. But hello, Augie. Hello, Opting. Hello, everyone. How are you? How was the break? Did you all do okay? What did you get up to? Did you have something to eat? And all that wonderful stuff. Paul and I had a walk up to Tesco. Got 4,900 steps in, nearly. Very close. It's like 4,890 something. I round up, you know. Um, and I had lunch. And I stole some of Paul's biscuits. But don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. Opting 6-7. Astana, you got exactly 67 words in your essay just now. Nice. And hold on. Opting, is this stream going to be debating which particular niche of EDM this music fits into? This is drums. That is literally what it says. Drums essentials. And it's mostly drum and bass. What is it? Drum and bass, Afro house, and hip hop is most of the genres that this playlist is under. There's a couple of tribal houses, but that's about it. You gotta love the drums, you know. It's got a good beat, literally, because it's mostly drums. Sorry, not sorry. Augie, Optine and Augie are the same person again. Just channeling your inner selves. It's good. Astana, you want a giveaway, so you're gonna be getting a box full of crisps. Ooh, what kind of crisps? I mean, that's awesome. Astana, you thought you were seeing things that weren't there. Seriously awesome. Opting, you're sharing the brain cell. Nice. Astana, salt and pepper crisps. Very good. Salt and pepper crisps are really nice. It's got to be a specific type of crisp though, because like I've tried like salt and pepper tortilla chips. They weren't very good. It's got to be like, I would say my favorite salt and pepper crisps are ones that are the ridges, where you know the crisp that have ridges on them. That is the best salt and pepper crisps I've had yet. Just ridge ones or wavy ones, not the normal bog standard crisps. And tortilla crisps or tortilla chips aren't good as salt and pepper in my opinion. But you know, it's all good. It's all good. Astana, are you an orange cat? Astana, the ones that you've got has ridges. Nice. You should really. Hopefully, you'll enjoy them. I I am craving. I don't know what I'm craving. The walk that Paul and I went on today, like I said, it was less than 5,000 steps that I went, and I am freaking knackered. Let me tell you. I don't know if it's because I didn't sleep well last night, or what. But yeah, for some weird reason, I feel more tired with this 5,000 steps than I did on Sunday with my 10,000 step walk all at once, you know? It's fine. I think it's just, you know, I mean, I've been doing this now for, you know, these daily walks now for, I'm into week 9, and I think my body is starting to really feel me forcing it to go on so many walks. Because I go on 2 walks per day, and I've been gradually increasing the number of steps that I do per walk as well. So Last week, my goal was around 8,500 steps. This week, my goal is, this week and next, my goal is about 9,000 steps per day minimum. So I've been hitting my goals. I'm just so tired. But I'll get there. I will get there. And Opting, you are currently aspiring to be an orange cat. You and Augie both are currently aspiring to be an orange cat, but you can't decide who gets to be the head and who has to be the ass. I'll let you two argue that amongst yourselves. I am not going to wade into that particular debate. Not wading in at all. So, my friends, in case you are new here, first, welcome in. This is a Work With Me live stream. We will be doing 20 minutes of focus where we get our heads down and we focus, because it's a focus session, we focus on whatever is on our to-do list. Even if your thing that you want to do is drink a cup of coffee, that is perfectly fine. You drink that cup of coffee and then feel the satisfaction of finishing it as you do. But yeah, the goal is to get something done during that 20 minutes, no matter how big or small, just get it done. And then we have a 15-minute break between each focus session where we chat about pretty much anything and everything that our little brains can come up with. It ranges from what we had for lunch to gaming news to what we're planning on doing after the stream ends, you know? Augie, you already know which part you are, and it isn't the head. Often the thing is, you're also clearly an ass, so this is probably the source of the difficulty. Oh dear. So instead of cat dog, where the both ends are a head, your cat, where both of you are the tail, and there is no head. Oh dear. And Opting, congratulations on your 80 stream streak. I saw 450 there, and I'm like, whoa, 450 streams, but no, that's just your bonus points for reaching the 80 stream streak. See, that's how tired I am. That, my friends, is how tired I am. Okay, shall we get started? Let me go into the game. Do not forget that later on today, very soon, as a matter of fact, and within the next few hours, there is going to be a huge update that is going to be fixing over 150 bugs, adding in base layers, giving us a baby activity floor pad, all in one update. So if you have not done so already, if you play The Sims, remember to back up your saves and turn off mods and script mods before the game updates. The game automatically turns them off on its own when an update like this happens, but it's always best to be safe than sorry, and it's just a couple of quick ticks to do it yourself, because you don't want weird things to happen. Trust me. So yeah, just a reminder about that. And also, don't forget about the Lady Bridgerton event that starts on the 12th of May to celebrate the 2 new kits that are coming out on the 14th that are also Bridgerton related. Hey, Mouse Nuts, how you doing? Glad to see ya. I'm doing just fine, thank you. I've got a cup of tea in my pumpkin mug, and I also have, for after my tea, I've got my bottle of Coke Cherry Float, 0 sugar. Paul surprised me. So we went to Tesco this afternoon, and while we were in Tesco, Paul went one way and I went another because I was looking for clotted cream and jam because we're having scones tonight. And with scones, you need clotted cream and jam. It's just, it's a thing that must be done. Um, I didn't find clotted cream or jam, unfortunately. So we're going to have to stop off somewhere else on the way to board games night tonight to pick up the clotted cream and the jam. It's fine. We'll get it. But while I was searching for clotted cream and jam, Paul um, grabbed himself a bottle of the cherry float Coke, and he also grabbed me a bottle, which was really nice of him. Very thoughtful. And of course, I told him that it was very thoughtful of him to remember me and think of me when he was grabbing himself a bottle. So, super, super sweet. Mouse nuts, when you've been sitting on a hot potato for so long and you want to get up off it so bad, but it's a surprise hot potato? Explain, please. Explain, please, mouse nuts. Ewoki, you have cold tea because you forgot you had tea. Aw, sad. Opting iced tea is famously just regular tea plus ADHD. And ice. Mouse nuts. A certain old Mere Chaz and Dave song comes to mind. Yes, that's such a good song. That was such a wonderful, wonderful little song that I had way back when. Augie, you know what Mr. Mouse Nuts means? You have a surprise in mind and it's so good you want to tell the recipient. Ah, I gotcha. I gotcha. So, um, are you gonna be able to tell to share the surprise, or are you gonna give away the surprise before you're supposed to? Mouse Nuts, more or less, yeah. Okay, let's get into the game, my friends. Let's get into the game. Oh. Oh, yeah. Carpet tile news. The main package still has not arrived. For those of you who missed out, if you missed the excitement during the morning stream, I got a package during our morning stream. And it was a package containing two carpet tiles, which are going to go into my office. And I love this carpet tile because I don't know how well you can see it in the camera, but basically the carpet tile is like a bunch of different shades of blue. And it looks really, really nice. And it's going to be, they're going to go in my office on the floor eventually. Jeeves, rub it sensually. What, like this? I'll just rub up against it. It is nice and soft. By the way, it doesn't look soft because, I mean, you can see it there. It doesn't look soft, but it's very soft, surprisingly, for it being carpet tile. But yes, so I got that box of two carpet tiles. I was supposed to get 22 carpet tiles. So I phoned up the place, and they told me that the other box of 20 is should arrive either later today or tomorrow. So it still hasn't arrived. If it hasn't arrived by 5 p.m. tomorrow, then they told me to ring them back Thursday morning and they would sort it. So hopefully they do. Um, so Mouse Nuts, you just got word back that you've been allocated an allotment. Oh, so you're going to be growing fruit Veg and some fruit. Nice. Very nice. Allotments are really nice. We technically I technically have a big enough garden now that I could grow fruit and veg again. We actually have in our gardens we've got an elderberry bush, and we've got a bunch of berry brambles, blackberries. Um, so Paul's gonna absolutely love it. He's gonna have blackberries and elderberries. He's gonna live outside, just picking berries when they go ripe and eating them. I can tell you right now, probably gonna grab a blanket, grab all of his Furbies, and like camp out in the front garden and just eat nothing but berries all day. I can pretty much bet you on that one. Mouse nuts, bugs, but Bugs Bunny times 1,000 need to be sorted first. You gotta fence the plot, so that's a day off for you. Yeah. Uh, or else you're gonna have all of the bunnies eating all of your crops. You don't want the bunnies eating your crops. Or maybe you do. Ooh, mouse nuts. What you should do is you should 100% buy yourself some bunny food, and then put the bunny food outside of your allotment. Just in a little bunny feeder. Get yourself a bunny feeder with bunny food, put it outside, so that way when you go to your allotment, you can watch the bunnies eat the food, and they'll leave your garden alone. But you still get to watch the bunnies. Mouse nuts bunny feeders equals other people's plots. Okay, that works too. That definitely works too. And Augie, when are the budgie smugglers arriving? I haven't ordered them yet because everyone's chosen a different pattern. So yeah. I'm waiting for there to be a tiebreaker. Jeeves, is your name Mr. McGregor? Oh no. Not Mr. McGregor. Not a Beatrix Potter reference. God, I'm old. All right, my friends. Anyway, let's get started. Mouse nuts, it's Elmer Fudd. It's Wabbit season. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits. Duck season. Wabbit season. Anyway. Jeez, we need a poll for the budgie smugglers. Yeah, I'm gonna do that probably. Well, later on. I will make a proper budgie smugglers poll. There you go, over on the Discord. All right, my friends. Let's get started with working, or else we're gonna be talking about bunnies and um budgie smugglers for the rest of the day. Nothing wrong with that, but there you go. Mouse nuts, that's an older reference than the Peter Rabbit one, so who's old? All of us. All of us are old, mouse nuts. All of us. So there you go. Right, let's get this timer on. For those of you who are new, I will mute my microphone while we get work done, and then I'll catch up with the chat after 20 minutes. Let's go. Oh dear. All right, my friends, that is our first focus session done for this afternoon. How are you all getting on? I hope it's going well. Um, I've finished section 2 of chapter 3 of my book. So slow but steady getting there. Slow but steady. I'm gonna move on to section 3. Um, I'm probably not gonna get it done today, which is fine. But at least I'm gonna do research on it. And do a bunch of copy pasting into my notes so that I know what types of things I need to add to section 3. So we'll get there. Mouse Nuts wants me to lift weights. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Give me a second. Well, let me move into my big window here, and I will lift weights. I will move here so y'all can see what I'm doing. Here we go. One. Actually, hold on. I'll get rid of the chat. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do 10 of each, by the way. That's one arm. Second arm. That's 8. 2 more. There we go. Thank you very much, Mouse Nuts. Appreciate that. And now, just to ease the tightness in my shoulders, I'm gonna do these as well. I may be overweight, but I am nearly 50, and unfortunately, I've got a bit of fat buildup around my belly. But that's why I'm walking. That is why I'm walking. There we go. Oh, that's much better. Thank you very much for that. Dunk. All right. So our Sims are doing okay. Let me get back into the correct screen here. There we go. Jeeves is cleaning. Rob Bobson just doing a little bit of cleaning there. We are gonna pause the game though, so that we can talk about news. There's been a little bit of interesting news regarding the EA buyout. First of all, yesterday, there was a planned protest over at the EA headquarters, and they did not like that idea. EA did not like the idea of protesters showing up at EA. See, the thing with the EA campus is it's got a bunch of public areas where members of the public can go, kind of like a park, where with lots of green grass and trees and stuff. So, where the public can go and relax and, have picnics and stuff like that. Really nice of them to do. But they cordoned all of it off. They cordoned all of it off yesterday when they got word that a protest was going to happen, because they did not want the protesters on their property. Which, fine, it's private property. They have every, it is up to them who they allow and do not allow on their property, but still, dick move. It is still a dick move to do that. I'm just saying it right there. And now, the president of the Communications Worker of America Canadian branch has called upon the Canadian government to investigate the EA buyout. Um, in case you have not heard, the Saudi Arabian owned PIF and Jared Kushner, in other words, he's Trump's son-in-law. His company Affinity Partners, along with a company called Silver Lake, they have um, approached EA, and EA has agreed to a buyout from these three entities, with the majority of the buyout being funded by the PIF. Now, obviously, this is not a good thing. It's good for the shareholders, but it is not a good thing for the company. The reason why it is not a good thing for the company, as um, as the president of the CWA Canada branch says, the fact that the buyout is being funded mostly by Saudi Arabian owned PIF is a huge conflict of interest, because the PIF is owned by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And my phone is ringing. Give me one moment. We'll get into this in a minute. There we go. Hello. Yes. Day after tomorrow. Oh, great. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, fantastic. All right, cheers, thanks. Okay, sorry about that. That was I don't know if you heard all that. That was the people that are going to be doing my garden. They said that they can fit me in, or fit the garden in on Wednesday. So or Thursday rather. So I need to I need to do a bit of shopping. I need plants. I need to buy plants. It's fine. I can do that tomorrow. But anyway, about the PIF thing. So yeah, a lot of people have been voicing concerns about Saudi Arabia's involvement of this buyout, due to the Saudi Arabian government's previous human rights records and international relations records. They don't have they don't believe in human rights, and yeah, their international relations is absolutely horrible. So it's not good. However, the buyout is not good, but it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome that so many people, both in the U.S. government, the U.K. government, yeah, the U.S. government, U.K. government, European governments, mainland Europe, and now Canada, are all saying, "Hey, hold up, we need to stop this buyout. This cannot happen, because it's not only um, there's not only human right concerns, but there's also national security concerns here. You know, so yeah, good news on that front. So hopefully something will come out of all these governments saying, hold, um we need to look into this. So hopefully it'll work out so that the buyout doesn't happen. That would be the best case scenario. It really would. Ostana, your milk carton is leaking. No, not allowed. I'm just saying right now, not allowed. Gonna have to put it in another. I hate when that happens. It's so annoying. We have some glass bottles. We have little pint glass bottles, that we use. So we buy UHT milk because it's cheaper than fresh milk. I don't know how, but it is. And yeah, we use we've got these little glass bottles that we decant our UHT Tetra packs of milk into. So you might want to look into getting stuff like something like that, just in case you have problems with milk cartons in the future. They're really nice and they're super easy to clean out. You just when they're empty, you rinse them out with water and if you need to, you can stick them in the dishwasher, and they wash up really really fast and super simple and easy. Usually just rinsing them out with waters, as long as you rinse them out quickly, as soon as they're emptied, it works really nicely. Mouse nut seethes. Why are we seething? No seething. We don't seethe. We seed. Yes. UHT. It's cheaper than fresh milk, though. It lasts longer. And we're penny pinchers. It's not milk. I never mention UHT in front of a cow farmer. Never, never mention UHT in front of a cow farmer. And Astana, this is one of the first times she've experienced problems with the milk carton leaking. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Mouse nuts, I will rue the day I ever do that again. So I guess I shouldn't mention that I drink oat milk for my cereal and coffee. It's Astana, you thought UHT was the most common milk to buy. Mouse nuts unfollows, blocks, bans. Astana, at least it is where you're at. Yeah, so here in the UK, you can get fresh milk. It's super. I mean, like every single supermarket, even your corner shops sell fresh milk. So it's really, really easy to get. But we don't drink that much fresh milk. And UHT milk UHT lasts longer than fresh milk does because of the way that it's, pasteurized and processed. So one container of UHT won't go off. It lasts the entire time that we need it to. Whereas if we were to buy the same amount of fresh milk, it would go off before we were able to drink it. So that's why we switched to UHT. One, it's cheaper, and two, it lasts. And we were just getting tired of all of our milk going off before we could drink it all. So Jeeves, yeah, it's long life milk, yeah. Mouse nuts, it's becoming more common. Milk is actually in the same category as petrol and diesel in its transport as its um, self life and being a natural product. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know it was in the same category as petrol and diesel. As far as transportation's involved, that's pretty cool. That's an interesting little bit of trivia. I like it. But yeah, that's why we drink UHT, because we don't get through it, um, and we don't make stuff that uses sour milk either. So we were literally pouring money down the drain because we would get like halfway through a container of milk, it would go sour, and we would just pour it down the drain. Um, and that's an insult to the cows. So I don't want to insult the cows by pouring their milk down the drain. Asana, you don't think they sell fresh milk in the supermarkets where you're at? Jeeves, Germany is the same. Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool as well. Very interesting to learn these things. And mouse nuts, a lot of people don't realize that diesel and petrol are derived from natural products. I mean, I knew that they were, but I didn't know that milk falls under the same transportation rules as diesel and petrol. It's just very interesting. Mouse nuts, but I insult them by admitting to drinking UHT. Be careful how I sleep tonight. The cows are coming for me. I will hear them moo in my sleep. Jeeves, you always get through a bottle of fresh milk. I mean, you've got a little guy, which helps because when Paul was little, I made sure that he drank a glass of milk, fresh milk every day. So he, with him drinking a glass of fresh milk every day, we were getting through the milk. But then it just got so expensive, and um, Paul stopped drinking milk because I noticed that he was having a little bit of like almost an allergic reaction to it. He wasn't like having a major allergic reaction to it, but he would drink milk, and about 10-15 minutes after he would drink a glass of milk, his nose would just start running, and I mean, horrible grossness. Um, and I'm like, he was fine. He was fine like 30 minutes before he started, before he had that glass of milk. Um, and so I did a bit of a, little bit of a test, and I stopped him from drinking. I made him stop that glass of milk every day. And his nose cleared up. His sinuses just cleared up immediately. Like after 2 days of not drinking that glass of milk, his sinus problems were gone, which amazed me. And then I gave him a glass of milk again, and the problem came right back. I stopped the milk, and it went away. Um, so I think that when he was little, he had like a little bit of not a huge lactose intolerance, but just a little bit of one that, caused him to, his nose to run like a faucet. And it wasn't like drippy. It was gloopy. It was disgusting. TMI, I know, but there you go. But yeah, and then that's when, after he stopped drinking that milk, that's when I started having to pour it down the drain because it would go off. So yeah, UHT. Sorry, mouse nuts. Jeeves, great mirror. You've summoned the heralds of Calmageddon and doomed us all. We're all gonna die. Astana, yeah. Basically, that's what happened. Was a slight intolerance to milk. Um, so I don't know. It's weird. Mouse nuts. The wacky thing is, here in the UK, in England, you can go to a dairy farmer and buy a pint of milk straight from the dairy farmer. Yes, in fact, most areas in England, you can the dairy farmers will deliver bottles of milk to you every morning, or like, whatever your schedule is. You can either have them deliver like 2 pints of milk a day, or 2 pints of milk twice a week, or whatever amount of milk you need weekly, whatever. But yeah, they'll deliver it straight to your home if you want them to. Um, in Scotland, you can't do it, as it has to be pasteurized first. So you can pay the English farmer £1 per liter, which is cheaper in the shops, but in Scotland you can't for the same stuff. That is so weird. That is very interesting. And Jeeves, some farmers where you're at have set up vending machines for their milk. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. And it's apparently illegal to sell fresh milk in store shops, etc. You can only buy it from private people where you're at. Ah, okay. And when I say fresh milk, I mean pasteurized, um, like you would get in supermarkets. But yeah. Hey, Luminous, how you doing? Glad to see you. The Sims is going just fine. Thank you very, very much. We have a household of 6 ghosts and one living sim at the moment. Um, it'll be fine. The sim here, he keeps trying to freeze himself to death. But so far he's lucked out, and he's managed to not turn into an icicle yet. But it's all good. When he dies, we'll have 7 ghosts until they're reborn, and then they'll be rebirthed as older Sims. It'll be absolutely fine. I'm sure. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. I'm sure. Also, High Rock, 5 stream streak. Awesome. Glad to see ya. And Numbnuts, whoa, there we go. There's quite a few because their herds are small enough to be able to do that, as they don't get enough from selling the milk on its own. Your dad had 55 cows, which looked after 2 households. And they had to sell up 6 years ago because the processor cut a lot of small producers out. That sucks, man. Really sorry to hear that. Astana, he he looks jacked. He does, yeah. He's super super buff. And Luminous, it's Sims. Very very true. It is Sims. Yeah. I mean, to be honest though, we've only had one person die from freezing to death, and I think one person died from being electrocuted to death or something. Something along those lines. No, wait. I think my sim died from laughing too hard. Yeah, my sim died from being hysterical, and Rob Bobson died from freezing. All the other ones have died from just old age, which, good percentage. Good percentages. Tame day, but good deaths. Yes, very much so. Right, my friends. We need to start our next focus session, and I need to run to the loo. So let's get our timer up. For those of you who are new here, let me explain very quickly what we do on this channel. This is a work with me live stream. We have The Sims 4 running in the background. The Sims run autonomously with very little to no input from myself, except when needed. And we just let them live their best lives the way that, however they want to do so. We have 20 minutes of focus session where we do get stuff on our to-do list done, and then we have a nice 15-minute or so chatting session, where we just chill and talk with each other about basically anything and everything. So let's get that timer going. I'm gonna mute my microphone. I'll turn up the music, turn back the Sims back on, and yeah, let's get some stuff. Let's get some work done. Let's go. We can do this. I believe in us. We can do the things. All of them.
Whoa. Chungcha. Ah. Huh. Buncha. Yeah. Huh. Yes. Trip Nebo. Moochie Peachy. Arva Boshi. Twib Safoob. Ah. Adi. Oh, yip, 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 yips. Oh, lava.
It's a bling! We blinged! And that means we are also finished with our second focus session of this afternoon, or our fifth focus session for the day. How are you all doing? Morgan, hello, hello. Glad to see you. And also, Leah Luminous, thank you so much once again for the follow. Really, really appreciate that. Wow. I got nothing done. I got nothing done during that focus session. I did that's a lie. I did get most of my research done for section 3, chapter 3 of my book. So next time I will start working on taking everything in my notes and actually putting it down in my book in a way that makes sense. You gotta love. Yeah, I mean, why do we need to organize things to make them make sense? I don't know, but I guess when you're writing a book, it's kind of you kind of need to do it, right? Kind of important. Jeeves, we could do with the task list being cleaned up. Sure, I can do that. Clear, done. There you go. How's that? Is that better? Y'all have been really, really busy. I mean, for every little thing that I've done today, y'all have done like 5 or 6 things. I mean, you're definitely doing good today. Jeeves, that's much better. Aw, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, it does. I mean, I believe the list slowly scrolls up, and you can always do exclamation backlog, and type that in the chat if you need a list of your list. If you need an account of your list, for reminding yourself. But yeah, I this week, well, yeah, this week and last week was kind of a test to because I normally clear the to do list um, every day, but I wanted to do a test to see if I could get away with only doing it once a week. And I think the answer is no. It needs to be done every day. So I will start doing it once again every morning before our morning stream starts. Oh no, Ewoki's posting to Substack. Substack scares me. I don't know why, but like Substack and GitHub, just stuff like that. Just no. I think it's because it's just no. I don't like it. I don't like the stuff. I don't like it. But yeah, so during that focus session, by the way, my friends, I got Jeeves. You love GitHub. I mean, you would because you're a programmer. My brain is not. I don't do programming. I can barely, on a good day, I can barely walk. Okay. Yes, I know. This is the face of someone who's planning on walking the Dale's way. This is also the face of someone who, during their afternoon walk today, um, tripped up a curb and fell down the one immediately across the street. Not in that order, the other way around. I was walking, and because of my vision is gone. Okay, my right eye, I've lost about 50% of my vision. But because I've lost so much of my vision in my right eye, my depth perception is shit, and I can see a curb and not be able to tell unless it's like marked. I can't tell if that curb is raised or lowered. And I completely missed both cases today. I thought that the curb was lowered and it wasn't. It was a raised curb. And I went to step onto the road to cross the road, on the corner. And yeah, it was a raised curb, and my brain was not ready for the 3 inch drop, so I nearly fell. And then I crossed the road, and again I couldn't tell if the curb was dropped or raised. It was raised again, and I tripped up the curb. So there you go. I'm doing really well, let me tell you. Jeeves, you're not a programmer. You have no idea what your job is anymore. To be fair, though, but you still get paid, right? That's the main thing. You're still getting paid for it. But yes, during the focus session, I got this. This is my roll of wallpaper for this wall behind me. And I mean, look at that. This is going to be absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? I mean, seriously, isn't this gorgeous? Um it's got multiple, you can see there it changes. It's slightly textured. It's got varying design on it. Opting the front side of the paper is definitely an improvement over the back side. Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to be showing this bit. That's the instructions bit. Um, Saying, how to cut it and how to do all of the things. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting this wallpaper up on the wall. But yeah, it's lightly textured. It looks absolutely beautiful. Very retro, but also a bit modern at the same time. It's like a modern retro twist. So, Jeeves, oh, you're a wallist. You're not sure you agree with with wallism. Down with walls, right? Down with walls. But no, wallism is it's a wallpaper company, obviously. And they do a lot of different wall murals. And I saw this one, and I'm like, ooh, yes, please. I 100% want this wallpaper. So Paul's chosen his wallpaper as well for his room. His is, I managed to talk him out of getting a over the top, extremely loud wallpaper. Because he was wanting to go for just, I mean, like in your face style wallpaper for his room. But I managed to talk him down into something a little bit more refined, less clashing colors. Um, you know, and something that will last him hopefully for the rest of his life, as long as he doesn't pick at it, because he has a bad tendency to pick at wallpaper. So I need to make sure that he does not pick at the wallpaper. I can make no promises as to whether or not he'll do it, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Opting wall as a construct meant to serve capital. The wall floor ceiling divide is arbitrary. Jeeves too far. Opting wallpaper is all in your face if you're looking at it. And I mean, I guess it depends on how close you get to it. But no, the stuff that Paul wanted, oh my gosh. It was originally The stuff that he wanted was big, big pattern, very bold, very clashing. And I'm just like, yeah. So I managed to talk him, and I found a nice wallpaper for him that's more, um, shall we say, just a little bit nicer. Let me actually see if I can find the wallpaper that he wanted. If I can find it, that's the question. Is can I find? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Okay, hold on. I've bookmarked it, and I'm like, did I bookmark it? You know when you're like, you can't remember whether or not you've bookmarked things. Let's see, decorating. Yeah, here we go. This is the wallpaper. Let me show you. Here we are. This is the wallpaper that he's chosen, that I managed to talk him into getting. So it's got like a nice little design there. Very kind of mandala-ish. It's geometric circles. Um, and blue. They also have a brown, an orange, a green, a top, and a rust color, and an aqua blue. So they've got loads of different colors to choose from. He's going more towards the blue right now, but to be honest, I kind of like the looks of the brown a little bit more. Um, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to talk him into getting the brown, but he really does like the blue. So that's probably what we'll end up going for his room. Not all over, just like one wall. Basically, it will be this, and then I'll probably do his other walls in whatever color that he just ends up deciding on. Either like this base brown or the off white of the circles. Not quite sure which way we'll do it, but we'll see how it goes. Opting, that's not bad. What was the original choice? Jeeves, you're more interested in the one he chose originally. Of course you are. Let's see if I can find it. So originally, he wanted something like this. This was approximately, this wasn't his exact choice, but it was very similar to this. It was pretty much this. Is what he originally wanted. I think it was a different color, but it was this basic design, and I'm just like, it's a bit loud. Jeeves, that's awesome. You like this one, do you? Iwoki, you don't hate it, but it is very bold. And it only comes in two different colors. So you got the paisley blue color or that orange color. And yeah. He also wants his room done up in Furby purple. And I'm like, this plus the purple of his favorite Furby, I think would clash a little bit too much. Ewoki feature wall, that's what this is. Yeah. But my thought was, go with this one in maybe the top, or the blue, and that way, it'll match a little bit better with the purple that he's wanting to go with as well, because he wants to decorate his room up Indian and Furby. Um, so it's trying to find something that will match, something that's Indian that won't clash with the purple of his favorite Furby that he also wants to add, do the color to. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how he goes. Um, but yeah, he does like this pattern. He had also looked up let me just get that bookmark back. Decorating house, that one. Okay, so he had also looked at, there were a few that he really liked the looks of. So another one that he was considering, if I can find it, was he liked this one with the big elephant on it. But I'm just like, it's nice because it's got that mandala pattern that he loves. Um, but yeah, it's that is 100% a feature wall. So that's why I tried to steer him towards that other mandala wallpaper. Because he liked the mandala, but I'm just like, that elephant I think might be a bit too much. Often, what if I convinced him to go with the Laguna Furby? Blue and orange, yeah. Asana, that wallpaper gives you very 80s vibes. Often, big elephant is fantastic. Plus, it matches Laguna Furby. How does the big elephant match the Laguna Furby? Astana, when you get your own house, you want to paint the bedroom walls a deep purple. Ooh, that sounds nice. But yeah, this is again Wallism website, and there's just so many really cool things. He was also when he was going over the wallpapers, he saw this one as well. But this is listed as Mexican, not Indian. But it's still a really nice mandala pattern. Again, though, I'm like, it's a bit bright. And he didn't like it because it said Mexican. As soon as he saw that it was said Mexican and not Indian, he's just like, no, I don't want that. It's not Indian, he said. But he was looking at it. But yeah, they've got so many really really neat murals on this website. I mean, seriously, there's some really really good ones. So I I might let him look through this website again before we get his wallpaper, just in case he's changed his mind or whatever, and see if there's anything that he wants instead. Like, I mean, something like this is really cool looking, and this comes in a wide variety. This is an a Indian city skyline, um, and it comes in several different colors as well. So, or several different types like this. Several different variations. So he might like this. He might decide that he wants this, or maybe I can get him to go for something something else. You never can tell with Paul. You never can tell. To be honest, I think what he would love is if, let me go to the chatting screen real quick. If I can find him, um, if I can find him a wallpaper that has like a big mandala design, that's just like a huge mandala with an empty space in the center, so that we can buy him a he can buy himself a round canvas and paint a picture of a Furby on that round canvas, and then we can hang it up in the middle of the mandala. I think that he would absolutely love that. But it's finding a wallpaper or a mural that does that. And Asana, when you get your own house, you want to paint the bedroom walls a deep purple. Oh, that sounds really nice. But yeah, we'll have to. I'm gonna let him choose again because that little mandala pattern was the one that I steered him to, and he said he really liked it. Uh, Another one that he looked at was just an Indian flag, like the Indian flag on a mural, and I'm like, let's not, let's not put a country's flag up on your wall, Paul. It's like you're not from India. You're not planning on moving to India and becoming an Indian citizen. Um, but yeah, uh, Ewoki, you could draw me one, but it won't be a mural or a wallpaper, unfortunately. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. They're always coming up with new wallpapers on that website. They're expensive, by the way. That is a really expensive website. Um, but they do really high quality stuff. So it's a case of you pay for what you get, um, or you get what you pay for, I think is the correct idiom. So yeah, we'll see when it comes closer to decorating his room. We'll see how it goes. My next step for this room is we need to fill in all of the cracks and all of the holes, because like you can see right there, right there, and right there, um, there's just all over the walls, especially behind me, and actually on all of the walls. I'm looking at all of the walls right now. There are holes. There are holes where people have drilled in for shelves over the years. There's holes where the plaster has fallen out for whatever reason. Um, it needs to be patched. We need to just fill in all of these holes really nicely with filler. And then we're gonna get some proper paint for primer paint for flaky walls and uneven walls, and paint that over the top, because I do not want to be here for 3 weeks with a scraper scraping all the paint off the walls. It's not happening. It is not gonna happen. So we're gonna put primer over the walls after we've patched up the walls, and then I'm going to paint all of the walls except for that one. That one will have the primer paint over it, but that's it. Um, because the wallpaper is going to go up behind me. So, um, it's actually this wallpaper. This image here is my wallpaper. But yeah, it's it's gonna be a lot of work, and we can paint, but I can't put up the wallpaper until after the heat pump people have been. So after the heat pump, um, then I'll be able to put the wallpaper up. And the reason why I can't put the wallpaper up yet until after the heat pump's been put in is because chances are I can't remember if they're going to replace the radiator in my room, here in the office. So if they need to replace this radiator and I've got wallpaper up, they're gonna mess up the wallpaper. I know it, you know it, we all know that they are going to mess up that wallpaper if the wallpaper's up. Because workers like that, they don't care. They don't care how nice your wallpaper is, you know. They're gonna scratch it. They're gonna tear it. They're gonna do all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm gonna wait until after the heat pump is in to put the wallpaper up, and I'm just gonna have to wait. I'm just, we're just gonna have to wait until that time comes. I hate waiting. I really, really do. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to wait. I want this wall behind me to look nice. I want to put these shelves up that's still in the boxes from when I bought these shelving units back in November of last year, and it's probably gonna be November of this year before I can put them together and put them up behind me and put all of my Lego plants and other things back there, But that time will come. We will get there, maybe one day. It's fine. It's one of those things. I hate waiting for other people to get their work done so that I can get my work done. It would be nice if I could just wave my hand and make the heat pump people do their jobs. But it's fine. So what are you all getting up to after the stream ends? What are you doing later on today? Anything fun? Anything exciting? I've got games night tonight. Yeah, I've got games night that's happening. Board games, that is. I don't know what we're playing because it's not our week. Last week we played Sherlock Holmes mystery thing, which is a text-based, game. Loads of fun, by the way. But yeah, but I don't know what we're going to be playing tonight. So, Astana, did I crochet this blanket? The one behind me? Yeah, hold on. Let me grab it for you. So this blanket, this throw blanket, yeah, I crocheted this. I crocheted this years ago. This was like my first large crochet project. So there you go. This was using about, I think, three skeins of yarn, two or three skeins of yarn. And it was a natural gradient yarn. And it's just one huge granny square, this is just one massive granny square. I started off making a small granny square, and I'm like, about that size, got the middle there, and I made it to about here where the blue is. And I'm like, you know, I had made tons of little granny squares, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. It's like, I'm gonna keep going with it, and I'm just gonna, not stop until I run out of yarn. So that's what I did. I just kept crocheting and crocheting and crocheting until I ran out of this particular yarn. It took me a while. It took me a long while to do, but I did it. And then after I made this, I made my son's blanket that was made out of lots of different granny squares. Granny square blanket that lots of little granny squares that I sewed together and then crocheted a border around. So, but there you go. Asana, you like the random colors. I love gradient yarn. I don't know why, but I just love the yarn like this that fades into different colors. I think it just makes for interesting patterns. And Ewoki, you'll probably be climbing into bed to read. You're not sure. You want to crochet, but it's cold. You'll see where the wind blows you. I mean, isn't crocheting when it's cold the best time to crochet? Because then, you got, as you crochet the thing, especially if it's something large like this, it kind of drapes over you as you crochet, and keeps you warm. That's the one thing I loved about this blanket. was what as I was crocheting it, I could um, put it all, drape it across my lap as I was crocheting it, and it just kept me warm. Astana, you'll be working on exams and reading and listening to rain sounds. Nice. Rain sounds is good thing to listen to. Ewoki, yes, but you're crocheting a summer sweater, so it's not keeping you warm. Ah, that makes more sense. But yeah, that was my very first crochet project. Well, my first large crochet project. I had done previous to that. I had made a bunch of like little granny squares and circles and um, just all sorts of little things to practice. Uh, and yeah, I'm just like I'm gonna make that. That took me about two years to make, and then my son's blanket took me like 4 years to make. I am not fast when it comes to crocheting. I am so slow. And speaking of, now I don't have the yarn in that basket, but yeah, speaking of crochet, I've got two baskets full. Well, one basket and one box full of yarn. I probably should start another crochet project at some point. Ewoki, you could start crocheting winter socks, you guess. It won't keep you warm while you're crocheting it, but it will afterwards. That is very true. That is very true. And then you'll have a nice pair of socks for when winter gets here. I've never tried crocheting socks before. Part of me wants to, but I'm like I'd be afraid that I'd get the crochet the wrong size. Um, I did try to crochet a pair of fingerless gloves. That didn't work out very well. I tried. I did crochet a bag. It was purple and black, and I made it for my son. Made it for Paul because he needed a rucksack, school bag. So I crocheted him this bag, but his teachers were like, "It's not it's not suitable for school because it barely held his school bag. Well, sorry, it barely held his school book. His records book. Um, and the teacher's like, it's not suitable. You're gonna have to get him another bag. So I ended up buying him a bag because they didn't like the crocheted one. He loved it. He absolutely loved his crocheted bag that I made for him. He tried taking that thing with him, even after I bought him a larger school bag, a proper rucksack. He took that school bag with him, the one that I made. He just put it in his other school bag and still took it around with him. Absolutely adorable. Iwoki, yeah. If you've got the pattern, I would love to give it a shot. It's really easy, basically a square. Okay. Yeah, definitely would love to try that. I've also done a scarf, although it wasn't meant to be a scarf at first. It was a case of I had been practicing different I'd been practicing a specific type of granny square, and I made like a dozen of them. And I'm like, I've got a dozen of these granny squares. What am I supposed to do with them? So I just ended up turning them all into a nice long scarf. Um, and then made a border going around them, and on each end I tapered it off. Um, you made like basically a triangle granny square to sew onto the end, sew onto each end, and yeah, it turned out to be very warm. I was very surprised at how warm it was. But yeah, it turned out to be a very nice warm scarf, and it was wide enough that you could put it over your head and use almost like as a shawl. Um, over your head and tie it around your neck to keep your neck warm as well. It was a big scarf, it turned out to be. And I gave that away as a present to my partner's mom. So, Ewoki, you'll drop the link in the Discord. Oh, sweet. Okay, thank you. Um, you're not changing colors. You're using a multicolored yarn. Oh, multicolored yarn for the win. Seriously. Anytime that I see a crochet pattern that's like, um, change color, stitch five, five stitches, count of five, then change color. I'm like, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep going and use that multicolored yarn because I'm lazy. My grandmother would be spinning in her grave if she heard me say that. My grandmother was she did not believe in multicolored yarn. She's like, she's like, multicolored yarn is lazy. You can't control when the color changes. She's like, so you end up with just a random hodgepodge, like that. So yeah, she was very adamant. She's like, if you're making a flower, if you are crocheting a flower, then it needs to be, um, it needs to be white petals or and with a yellow center or whatever, a proper one color of is the center, and each petal has to be a different color type of thing. None of this multicolored yarn stuff. She was very much a purist. Ewoki, same. Your grand would say, you better do the changes. She was good though with her color changes. You've been crocheting for years and it never looks as neat as she did it. Same with my grandmother. My grandmother was just, I don't know how she did it. And her crochet, it never came apart. She made a footstool out of, those large juice tins. I don't know if you get them over where you're at, but in the States you could get these large juice tins that were I kid you not, they were like that big and about like that big around. And she made a footstool out of a footstool, a cover, by making the footstool out of these cans. And then she put a layer of foam on the top, taped them all together, so that they stayed in the pattern that she wanted. And then she crocheted a cover for it. And I have no idea how in the world she did it. She was just so good at crocheting. She could come up with an idea in her head and know exactly what to do to make it the exact size and the exact shape that she wanted. And she made a cover for this tin can footstool, crocheted. And my cousin ended up, my cousin got most of my grandmother's stuff when she passed away. And she, as far as I know, she still has it. And she's only had to repair it once. And my grandmother made that thing back when I was like 8 years old, and I'm nearly 50 now. And the fact that it's lasted for that long is just amazing. So yeah, Iwoki, it is. I don't know if it just, if it was because my grandmother was just that good at crocheting, or if the quality of the yarn that she used was that good. I have no idea, but it never frayed. It never came apart. And it's just like my son's blanket that I've made for him. It's already coming. I need to re-sew the thing together because it's where I've sewed the granny squares together, it's come apart. But yeah, my grandmother was so good at crocheting. It's just she could knit as well, just as good as she could crochet. And I'm just like, Grandma, how? How? Iwoki, she was just that good. I like to think so. But anyway, my friends, it has been 2 hours, so we do need to wind this stream up. Um, just so you all know, I've decided to cancel tomorrow's streams because I got confirmation earlier that the landscapers are going to be here on Thursday to decimate my garden, basically. So I need to babysit them. Um, Not only do I need to babysit them on Wednesday so that they don't get rid of the plants that I want to keep, but I also need to buy plants and have them ready for to be planted after they're done. Um, so tomorrow, instead of streams, I'm gonna have to go out to the garden center and buy a bunch of plants so that when they're finished on Thursday, I can immediately plant all of the ground covers and stuff that I want to put into the garden. I don't like canceling streams last minute like this, but I can't leave the garden in the state that it's going to be in. It's got to immediately have plants planted in it, or else weeds are just going to sprout up overnight. You know what weeds are like. Asana, you hope the garden goes well. Thank you. It's costing £3,000. Uh, so much money, but yeah, they're charging me £3,000, and it's they're taking out a giant tree, a large tree, um, a bunch of small bushes, and they're taking out all of the grass on the front garden and the side garden. And they're also cleaning up there's a lilac tree in the garden we just found out. There's a lilac tree, of all things, proper actual lilac, and they're going to go in and clean all of the stuff out from that's grown around the lilac tree, and so that there's nothing left there but the lilac, because I want that to be kind of pride of place. And yeah, they're to do all of that. They're charging me £3,000. So then also, there's the cost of all the plants that I'm gonna buy for the gardens, and yeah, it's expensive. But there you go. Missed him out. Numbnuts, first worst tree to work on is a monkey puzzle. Speaking from experience. Oh my god, yes. Monkey puzzle trees are painful. My partner's sister has one. And that thing can. Oh my goodness. It's worse than a porcupine. It just sticks ya. They're horrible. Astana, lilacs, you've got them too. Oh, I love lilac trees. Lilacs were my mother's favorite flowering tree. And they're just so pretty, and they smell absolutely amazing. I agree with you. We've got buddleias as well, but buddleias grow differently than a lilac tree. The way you can tell the difference between a lilac and a buddleia is buddleias grow in canes. They have very, very similar flowers. So if you just look at the flowers, you can't really tell the difference. But a lilac is a tree. It is literally a tree. It grows a trunk and branches, where the flowers come from. Buddleia grows from canes, so you'll get a bunch of like branches sticking up out of the ground, and that is your buddleia. So, I have wanted a proper lilac tree for absolute years, and the fact that there's an established one in our garden is, I just love it. Absolutely love it. So anyway, no streams tomorrow. I am so sorry to have to cancel, but I do need to go plant shopping tomorrow. I was planning on like them phoning me up and saying, "Yeah, we'll get to you like 2 weeks from now," type of thing, because they had originally said end of June, but they had a sudden opening, and they were able to get me in sooner. So and I'm like, okay, I've got plenty of time to buy these plants. I can't buy them too early because they'll die in their pots. before I can transplant them into the ground. So I have to wait for them to let me know when it's going to happen. And I was expecting, they said, well, we'll ring you like a week in advance to let you know. So that you can buy the plants that you want to put in the ground so that you can put them in, as soon as we're done. And I'm like, that's great. And they phoned me up today and they're like, yeah, we're going to come on Thursday if that's all right. So it's fine. It's fine. It just means that all hands are go, and I'm going to be very busy for the rest of this week. But it's fine. The garden will look absolutely fantastic once it's all done, and all of the plants have been established and grown. So I'm so looking forward to it. It's going to be so, so pretty. Anyway, my friends, I'm just going to keep talking if I don't stop myself. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Please have a wonderful tomorrow as well. I will see you all Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time with Fortnite, as requested by Rocky World 12. But until then, please stay safe. Please stay hydrated. Have a wonderful rest of today and tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. Bye. Asana Monkey Puzzle tree looks, they do. They do look weird, but they're also very pretty in their own way. But I'm not getting a monkey puzzle tree. Definitely not. Anyway, bye.